It's me, Daniel.
And Jake.
We're in the same spot.
No, I got it set directions. So
like
one
this?
faces you and one faces me. How's the
Quiet.
levels? A little quiet?
Quiet.
I got the gain here. We'll turn that up a bit. How's that?
Is that better? No. Try again.
I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, I see. I see the problem.
I'm not real good with microphones. There. How's that?
Much better.
Oh, there we go. I'll turn the gain back to where it usually is.
Yeah, welcome to One Foot in the Grave.
Yeah.
We're in the same place, so that's going to be good news.
Yeah, this isn't we're
Ooh.
clipping there. We're clipping. This isn't vacation time. Well, I suppose.
Well, it is.
Now
Happy
is.
holidays, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dad's dead.
Yeah. Dan flew home from Australia. Dad was, he got sick. He got septic, and he was on chemotherapy, obviously. Anyway, Dan flew home, and first thing he did was go into Dad's hospital room, saw Dad lying there, and said, "Hi, Dad. Sorry, you're a vegetable." And then things just went downhill from there.
They say that they can hear some. So I wanted to be sure that he knew that I was sorry that he was
A vegetable.
a vegetable. Apparently you aren't what you eat.
Well,
No, you are what you don't eat.
Yeah, he did not eat a lot of vegetables. Anyway, he always had a pretty good sense of humor about everything, and he will be sorely missed. And what are you drinking tonight?
Schweppes, tonic water, and Absolute vodka.
Yeah, I'm drinking moonshine that I made with Dad, and Diet Coke.
It
Not together.
may or may not cause blindness.
It may or may not have been a contributing factor to his recent demise.
Yes. It certainly caused his blindness. Oh, sorry. This is again the live episode
Yeah.
that we post recording.
Sorry for the quality, folks. We're not. Oh, there it is. Well brought up, sir. Shame you weren't.
Oh, snap.
So Dan's here with all the kids and the family, and we're having a good old-fashioned family Christmas.
Without Dad.
Yeah, it's real old-fashioned. The life expectancy used to be like 38. It's like a pioneer Christmas.
Let's pretend just for tonight that Dad worked in a coal mine.
We'll celebrate Christmas the way they did in Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. There was a coal mine. There was a mine disaster. Anyway, it's that wouldn't be well established. We should do a shout out to our besties, Carmen.
Oh, Carmen.
Yeah.
Yep.
When they buried Dad.
Yeah.
Minor mistake.
Minor. No.
Wrong grave.
So
So
they
Carmen,
put him in the wrong place.
was it Carmen who said
No.
grave mistake, or was that Jill Shaw?
No, you can't say last names.
Sorry, Jill.
Jill Shaman.
Yeah.
And she did Dad's last blessing. There was a lot of maracas involved. No, that was Daisy.
Oh, Daisy. She said they
They've
made a grave mistake. That was quite good. So on that upbeat note, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
No.
I didn't have anything prepared for today.
Well, it's been busy. We've been trying to teach Mom how to do, gain down a little bit, trying to teach Mom how to do her bills online.
Yeah.
And because it may really be a pioneer Christmas if they disconnect the power.
We'll burn the Christmas tree. Jake
Just to stay warm.
burped and blew.
I
To
blew
the
away
side.
from you.
Burped and blew to the side.
I'm not that guy. I didn't blow it right in your face.
I am that guy. We've established that.
Yeah. So anyway, Dad's in the wrong grave. If you want to go back and hear Dad, have a look at what's the episode called? Alley Oop, I think we named it.
Oh yeah.
And that's a pretty good one. I think he talks about the pirate ghost ships of Nova Scotia.
Yep.
And we had a previous podcast that it was so politically incorrect that we had to be anonymous, but we did do an episode with Dad that wasn't too bad, where we just got him.
It's pretty bad still.
It might still be bad, but hey, weirdos,
Yeah.
we're all friends here now.
Except, sorry, Rev. We've recently found out that you're listening.
Big shout out to our pastor, Rob. I can't say his last name, but thanks for putting up with us and not excommunicating us prior to the funeral.
Yeah.
I was worried we were going to have to do a lay service for Dad if he was listening to this.
Well, you know what, though? We did when we buried him.
Our mom was the pastor. It really was like pioneer times.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have to do shoveling.
I mean, however,
there was an excavator.
Had we done that, he would have been in the right place.
You know what was weird is casket was all scratched up on the top when we went. I wondered if they dropped him.
Well, see, the only scary thing would be if it was all scratched up on the inside.
Poor Dad. Weirdly, I went to another funeral right after. So in St. John, we have a limited choice of funeral homes. And when he passed away, I actually called. We had plans arranged with one funeral home. They didn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was midnight, but still, they always have somebody who's on call. To answer an answering service. So we went with a different funeral home. And
I think we can give them a shout out.
Yeah, Bernan's. Very, very good.
Very good.
Yeah. So if you die and you're in the St. John area,
or surrounds,
Charlene,
she was
real
fantastic.
Nice, real nice lady.
Mum was worried that she didn't have anyone to do her hair, and Charlene stepped up and she said, "Don't worry, Lynn, I can do it. You'll have to lie down. I don't do the back."
She had a pretty good sense of humor. Yeah. They now Dad didn't look so great in the box.
Oh, so bad.
But he was. I mean,
one thing
he'd
is
been
that
quite sick leading up to it.
He took his time in hospice to grow a little wispy mustache.
He had a mustache all his adult life.
Yeah.
I think right from high school. Yeah. And it fell out with the chemotherapy, but he did manage to grow like a, what would you say, like a Chinese teenage Chinese medicine salesman. Yeah.
And they shaved it off. But
yeah, it looked pretty odd. But that wasn't their fault. They didn't have much to work with by the end. He looked pretty bad.
Yeah. He'd been sitting for quite some time.
His hands looked real weird.
Oh, so bad.
Anyway, still shout out to Bernan's. Once you're dead, who cares what you look like?
And this wasn't for an open casket. This was just for us. So I don't think they put their best.
If they were doing an open casket, I'm guessing they would have cut off somebody else's hands and put them on the sleeves. I don't know how it works, but those hands were fucked.
Really fucking bad.
Sorry, Rob. Sorry, Rob, if you're listening, Pastor Rob. Don't excommunicate us. We're
we need all the help we can get.
Our souls are taking this journey very slowly.
So, Jake, you've got a little story to tell.
Well, interestingly, this is an Australia story.
Well, we hope it's interestingly.
Well, you may have heard it before if you're a fan of the Unsolved Mysteries series.
Or any other true crime podcast television show.
Just let me degas a little bit.
Golly.
It's got a...
There's some drawbacks to being in the same room.
There's a tart. There's a tart muskiness. We had lamb stew for supper. Day old.
Don't remind me why that smells so bad.
It's not that bad. Pardon me. This is the case of the Somerton man. So I'm just going to launch right into it. It's a weird one. This
by weird,
it's weird. It's unsolved.
Unsolved.
And a little hard to explain. Did you ever see the pictures of him? Now I can actually show you pictures of the corpse.
Huh. It looks still better than Dad.
Compared to Dad, I was going to say, I mean, this guy was on a beach for 2 days. Dad still looks significantly
was on an inflatable bed at the hospital, and he still looked really bad.
Not so lifelike.
Oh, my goodness. And his teeth.
What was odd is that Dad always had the mustache.
Yeah.
And he laughed heartily, but
never showed his teeth.
Often behind the mustache. But then if you don't know, as you're dying, you're often asleep for most of it with your mouth wide open. In the O sign, we call it. There's the O sign, and then right before you die, we call it the Q sign when your tongue sticks out of the O.
Well, his tongue was so dry it couldn't.
Yeah, his tongue was like a turtle tongue. It was a bad week.
So, it was a bad way to go.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Anyway, Dad looked really bad.
Yeah. Anyway, we saw his teeth horrendously crooked.
So,
His upper teeth were fine.
yeah. And then, but
Lower?
the lower ones. Yeah.
Just like a mouthful of teeth all across. How did he not bite his tongue off?
Well, because they're pointing the opposite direction of his tongue.
Yeah, they're real weird.
It was bizarre.
So if you have a loved one, have a good look at their teeth so it's not a surprise when they get sick.
Yeah. And then we were going through, it was really bizarre going through Dad's things. We were going through his stuff. And there was a cast of his mouth, but he never had a mouth guard or anything.
There was a mouth guard on the cast, so I think he was grinding his teeth in his sleep. Somebody made him a night guard, and he never wore it and just left it on the cast.
Well, this is stupid.
Yeah. I don't know why insurance would pay for this. It's a piece of crap. What else? We found some... Unfortunately, just today, I found a bunch of photos that he had marked for the funeral home.
Oh, were they nice?
Yeah, really nice. He printed off a bunch in 8x10. We missed it.
Well,
I looked on his computer for instructions, couldn't find
that's
anything.
the other thing, guys. Always be prepared.
Yeah. You
Don't
never
just
know.
assume that people know what to do.
Don't assume we're going to go through your office immediately after your death, because there's a bunch of other shit to do.
Yes. Like put you in the wrong burial spot.
Yeah. Nicely, he made a playlist on his phone called Funeral.
Yeah, that was obvious.
Nobody ever played it.
Yeah,
Did
it was played at the funeral.
At the funeral home.
Oh, funeral home. And
Maybe the reception.
Sorry, I went into wingdings. Yeah, at the reception, no, it was too loud at the reception.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it at the funeral home, but it was a nice playlist, and we actually played it while he was dying. Dan got up and turned it off just at the end. Castles Made of Sand, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Last song.
It was a terrible song.
This is not that fun a podcast, is it? This is just...
Anyway, Dad's dead.
If you're all in tears, just
You're
put
not.
those tears away, because I'm going to tell you about a different dead guy.
Tell me about the Somerton Man.
All right, so this case, I'm taking you back to 1948, and keep in mind... Whoa! Wayne, Garth. So the Somerton Man takes place on Somerton Beach. This is 1948, December 1st. So, geez, pretty close.
Close.
It's a holiday case, a holiday unsolved.
Wonder if his wife was as pissed as Mom.
Yeah.
Actually, well, they never found out who he was.
No. Well, they might have some ideas. Anyway, so this fella was found on Somerton Beach with his head resting against a wall, a stone wall on the beach, and it looked like he was sleeping.
Salad. That tasted salad in that one.
It looked like he was sleeping, but clearly he was dead. And when they went back, they interviewed a couple of people who said they saw him the day before, laying across the sand. Laying on the sand across from the Crippled Children's Home.
Oh.
Imagine if we were allowed to call it things like that today. But here's the thing. They weren't politically correct, but they had funding for a crippled children's home. We're politically correct now? No funding. We're spending too much money on coming up with different names for cripple. As my friend Brett's mother would have said, if they didn't want us to call it the crippled spot, why do they put a picture of a cripple on it? Anywho, this fellow was resting against the seawall with his legs extended and his feet crossed. Everybody believed he was sleeping when they saw him, but I think he'd been dead for a day or so. I don't have an obvious time frame here, but I'm just reading it off the internet as we go. I have researched this one a bit, but it's been a while because we didn't plan on Dad croaking. So they found an unlit cigarette on the right collar of his coat. And
what brand of cigarette was it?
The interesting. You should ask that.
I know.
The box was called Army Club,
Uh-huh.
which is a known brand of cigarettes. But the cigarettes inside the Army Club cigarette box were not Army Club cigarettes.
You know why?
Russian spy?
No.
Why? That was my guess.
No, it's because people would, back in that time, people would often buy one box of expensive cigarettes
And then roll their own.
and then either roll their own or put different brands into the box because it was kind of like a status symbol back
Okay, so he just had cheaper, and he didn't seem. He was well dressed. Like when you see pictures of this guy, look up Somerton man. Suit or shirt and tie, and handsome fella for a corpse.
Did his name was his name in his clothes?
What?
Did he have his name in his clothes?
Well, no, he didn't. So they found a. Did they find a wallet? Just hold on a second now.
Oh, Brian Smith. Oh, okay.
Oh, case solved. Never mind. Well, he had a bus pass, but they weren't sure if it had been used. He had a second-class rail ticket to go from Adelaide to Henley Beach. Adelaide is a hot part of Australia, I believe.
It's Australia.
It's all in Australia.
If it was summer, it's hot. If it's winter, it's the cooler part.
This beach, Somerton Beach, where they found him, was just beside Adelaide, like 6 miles from Adelaide. So, just try not to burp in the microphone. And they found a bus ticket, but they weren't sure if he'd used it. He had a narrow aluminum American-style comb, or a made-in-America comb, a half-empty packet of Juicy Fruit chewing gum.
Whoa.
Shout out to the
Back in
people.
the day.
Yeah, it's been around since the war.
Oh, it's going to move you.
Yeah, take a whiff.
Gets right to you.
Yeah. Do you remember the skiing commercial when the guy does like the double daffy?
Yeah, that's the only one I can remember.
There's a sailing one, but I think that might have been Doublemint. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Doublemint gum. Yeah.
We did that one for free, Wrigley. So.
Yeah. Insert sponsorship here. I will say when we were going through all this with Dad, even before he got there, I listened to all the True Crime Garage podcasts. Like it's just that's like my happy space, right? Listening to podcasts and watching. I found a YouTube channel called, again, BuzzFeed. It's called Ruining History. It's really funny. Same guys.
I like the Try Guys.
The Try Guys are really good too.
Yeah. That's my jam.
I watched a lot of
and
those.
And Safia Nygaard.
Don't know that one.
She's really good. She used to be a
BuzzFeed. You connected to her on Twitter.
I didn't connect to her. I just
added, follow her.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I said the captain retweeted something from us. He just liked something that we tweeted.
The captain's kind of a weird guy.
Well, so are we.
Well, yeah. I find that I'm like a cheery creepy.
I'll tell you, you know what I like about him? I think, did you know guys in high school talk like that?
No.
They were usually stoned, but like talking like, I don't know if this is a good idea. But
are they young guys?
Yeah, just people who have that like, kind of like slow speech pattern.
I don't think anybody ever really.
And what I like about him is that he always like says inappropriate things, and he does it in that voice, and it's really I find it quite endearing because you wouldn't get away with it if the main person talking was like, we won't edit that out. Forget it. Anyway, I'm just saying. So True Crime Garage again. I love you guys. Thank you for getting us through that. Me, anyway.
Thanks, Safia.
Yeah. So where were we?
Batch
had
bitch
Juicy
forever.
Fruit. He had Juicy Fruit and a quarter full box of Bryant and May matches. Okay.
Okay.
So there were some witnesses who said they saw him the night before. Somebody thought he moved, like raised his hand and then dropped it again. When they did the autopsy on this guy, they what did they say? I don't think that we have a cause of death here. They said broad shoulders, narrow waist, hands and nails that showed no signs of manual labor, big and little toes that met in a wedge shape, like those of a dancer or someone who wore boots with pointed toes. Maybe he was a dancer. Anyway, danced his way to the beach and then dropped dead.
Way to go.
He had very pronounced high calf muscles consistent with people who regularly wear boots or shoes with high heels or perform ballet. He's dressed in a white shirt, a red, white, and blue tie, brown trousers, socks and shoes, a brown knitted pullover, and fashionable gray and brown double-breasted jacket of reportedly American tailoring.
Goodness. Well, here's the thing.
But listen, all the labels on his clothes, removed.
Yeah.
I don't know who removes labels. Maybe it's like the cigarettes. Maybe they were cheaply made clothes and he didn't want to give that impression.
The theory that I heard was that if you buy your clothes from a second-hand shop, back then people used to write their name on all the tags.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then because his name wasn't John, it was David Blaine.
Right.
He cut the tags off.
Just gonna have a sip of my moonshine here. Good to the last yeasty drop.
Hey, why don't we make a way that we can dye just the methanol? There's going to be a way.
That the methanol turns pink?
Yeah.
This takes me back to chemistry class.
We'll titrate it.
We had to...
Yeah. We'll get a barrette.
Yeah, we had a pipette. A pipette. A microliter pipette.
Microliter.
Yeah. I've had a little bit of drinks today.
No, we haven't, Rev.
Yeah, sorry, Reverend.
Grape juice.
Clean living. Strongly recommended. So you don't end up like the Somerton Man. Anyway, we're just going to blast through this, but they had removed all his...
Okay.
Yeah, it still goes after the thing goes off. They removed all the... he probably had removed all the tags from his clothes. His body was clean shaven and carried no identification, which led police to believe he had committed suicide.
It's hard to commit suicide in 1943 without any sign of or cause of death.
Here's the thing. We've... I don't know if you know about the polonium poisoning guy. This was not long ago. This was in... the ex-KGB Russian guy, they poisoned him with polonium in London, England.
Yeah.
And they made a total dog's breakfast of it. They left polonium everywhere. It was in this. They could literally walk behind where the people had gone with a Geiger counter and trace everywhere they'd been. But I wonder if they wouldn't have tested for radioactive stuff. Having said that, when you die of radiation poisoning, your hair falls out.
Yeah.
And you look like you've been radiated.
And I don't know if Australia has any... Like, it would be hard to get that into the country.
But maybe there's some poisons that are hard to
1943,
detect. I guess that's the...
Yeah, ricin.
Yeah. I'm not sure how... I don't know the history. I don't know the history of ricin.
Pretty sure it's made out of...
Can't remember. Anyway.
Almonds.
That's cyanide.
Oh,
Anyway. His teeth did not match the dental records of any known living person.
In 1943.
In 1948, yeah.
Or 1948.
War is over. You're still dead on a beach. The coroner remarked that if the body had been carried to its final resting place, then all the difficulties would disappear. I'm not sure what that means.
It means...
Like if he died, they took a corpse from the funeral home. For a practical joke, somebody put it on the beach.
Uh-huh.
Then it would explain why you're wearing a suit on the beach.
It doesn't really explain that there's no cause of death.
Something tells me
even if you're dead,
maybe he was just really drunk and he just kind of aspirated.
I'm
I don't know how good.
Something in the lungs.
I'm not sure how good medical science was back then.
1948, though, there are people that taught you that were doctors in 1948.
That's true. Hey, you're right. They estimated the time of death around 2 a.m. on December 1st. So the people who saw him the day before probably did see him alive. He was restful.
Well, what time of year was this?
December 1st.
Oh, so hot.
But in Adelaide. And he's wearing a suit on the beach. Dehydrated.
Ugh.
Desiccated.
It would not be a pretty sight.
No.
Well, I guess it would be salty.
Couldn't just chewing gum. No drinks. No water.
That's what Mum used to do to us at basketball camp.
Yeah, we used to go to basketball camp and she would buy Gator gum. You remember that? And she was like, it's as good as drinking water.
I know.
Because you use your own saliva to rehydrate.
I was like, it doesn't work like that. Mom, I'm so thirsty.
We don't have a water condenser in our salivary glands. It's not coming from the air. This goes back to Marshall and the Paw Patrol.
Oh
We've been down this road.
Not on this podcast.
Yep. Just last episode.
Get the fuck
You haven't
out.
listened to the last episode.
But I was there.
Yeah, I know, but I think you were tired.
I'm always tired.
We're still not sure what's going on with Dan. I'm the one.
I might have pancreatic cancer.
I don't think so. You'd be thinner.
I do.
I kept thinking maybe I have colon cancer.
Great poo-poos.
Maybe it's a gallbladder.
No pain. No pain.
Not yet. Wait till one gets jammed up, one in the stones. Anywho, Heart was normal size, normal body normal in every way. Small vessels commonly observed in the brain were easily discernible with congestion. There was congestion of the pharynx, and the gullet was covered in whitening.
Congestion if he died sitting up?
Well, I wonder if he was edematous, like a little bit, and that's all. It just means that he was in heart failure.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom's here. I don't know.
Neither do I.
Stuck one out.
So where were we?
Yeah, Mom came in, something about Dad's death certificate. It's been a really cheery month, I think.
Yep.
We were talking about the congestion in this guy's brain and his mucosa and
so
stuff.
if you die sitting up, do you have brain congestion? I don't think that you would.
Well, here's the thing. What I was thinking is if you get the infarct, because eventually blood doesn't get to your brain.
Yeah.
Maybe you infarct certain vessels first, and then you get edema all around them.
No.
I don't know how brain death works.
I don't know either.
But I wonder if that congestion is just normal.
Not if you're sitting up, though.
The stomach was deeply congested, and there was congestion in the... now, we'd call it edema or swelling, right? But I think that's all... We're talking about the same thing. Congestion in the second half of the duodenum. There was blood mixed with the food in the stomach. See, I keep thinking he was poisoned.
Rat sack.
Yeah, warfarin poisoning. But would they...
It wouldn't clot, though. He wouldn't have any clots.
Yeah, true. Both kidneys were congested, and the liver contained great excess of blood in its vessels.
I know what it is.
Hemochromatosis. We still haven't been tested. Things got busy. The spleen was strikingly large, about 3 times normal size. Actually, you know what? He might have been an alcoholic, but you would think they would talk about cirrhotic liver disease. But if his spleen's that big, maybe he had mono.
No, or maybe it's a barbiturate. Maybe he was on barbiturates.
Well, for his spleen to get that big. Could have been hemochromatosis, maybe. There was destruction of the center of the liver lobules revealed under the microscope, acute gastritis, hemorrhage, extensive congestion of the liver and spleen, and congestion to the brain. His last meal was a pasty.
Gross.
Is that like a meat wrapped
pie.
in...
yeah, like a meat pie stick.
And he had that 3 to 4 hours before he died. But there was no foreign substance otherwise identified in the body. The pathologist is this guy Dwyer. He concluded, "I'm quite convinced the death could not have been natural. The poison I suggested was a barbiturate." Man, you're smart. Or a subtle hypnotic. Although poisoning remained a prime suspicion, the pasty was not believed to be the source of the poison. All right. So, skip forward 3 months. He's still in the cooler, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And they're still investigating.
And then he got up and walked away.
That would be amazing. That is not today's case. They found a brown suitcase with its label removed in the Adelaide railway station. And it had been checked into the station cloakroom at 11 a.m. on November 30th. So that was
2 days
felt to be his suitcase, but I mean...
The day before he died.
Hard to prove.
How many days have November?
30.
2 days before he died.
Yeah. Did not cough directly into the microphone, but look at that. We're just looking at the...
Jake never gets to look at this.
I never see this part. The sound waves. Fascinating. I just want to make noises and see what they look like.
You did an oscilloscope for your science experiment.
Yes, that was Dad. When he worked at the phone company, of course, they have oscilloscopes to measure the tones of the phones.
Phones.
That could be the name of this episode.
Tones of the phones?
Tones of the phones.
Phones.
Yeah. Or a grave mistake. That's probably a better one. Anyway, and we used to do we played on our cheap little, Casio keyboard and measured
synthesizer.
Sound. Yeah,
that was. I could not say that back then, but now
synthesizer.
The synthesizer.
But now your son says trismus.
Trismus.
Yeah, it drives my wife crazy. She's a speech pathologist, but anyway,
can't fit my son.
I don't know any adults who say trismus, so I think he just goes out of it.
Be fine.
Yeah. Go see a speech pathologist though if you're in St. John. I'm not saying they'll grow out of all the problems. You should pay my wife. Anyway, in the suitcase, there was a red checked dressing gown. Is that like a nightgown?
Yeah.
Yeah. A size 7 red felt pair of slippers. Who travels with this stuff?
No one. Well, I guess 1948.
Dancers.
I'm going to put on my slippers and my dressing gown. If you want
Yevgeny,
to.
I'm going to put on my slippers and dressing gown. Then we will fool the Australians again. See, I think it's Cold War thing. I think he was a spy. Who poisons anybody but spies?
People just...
Jilted lovers.
True.
Yevgeny.
No.
Yevgeny, I love you, but I'm going to the beach.
You can't say that name.
It's just, I'm trying to pick a Russian name. Alexander. Alexander Popolov. You are my soulmate, but I'm going to the beach to meet woman. I don't think so. Have some poison, my friend. Anyway.
Have a pasty.
Pure speculation. He had some underpants. The shaving items that all men of the time would have: light brown pair of trousers with sand in the cuffs, an electrician screwdriver, a table knife cut down into a short, sharp instrument. Maybe it was just released from prison and it was a shiv. A pair of scissors with sharpened points, a small square of zinc thought to be used as a protective sheath for the knife, and scissors and a stenciling brush as used by third officers on merchant ships for stenciling cargo.
Huh.
Yeah. All kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah.
It reminds me of going through Dad's drawers upstairs, to be honest.
Well, he could have used a block of zinc for some of his knives.
We found some odd stuff.
Well, just...
Glasses,
stuff,
lenses.
Yeah, stuff that you keep that you never think
somebody's going to go through this. Also had a Barber brand orange wax thread of an unusual type, not available in Australia. So this guy, I mean, my impression is he's not from Australia. That's just what, speculation.
Well, he had sand in the cuff.
He's been to the beaches. He's got a ticket to another beach. He's died on one beach. Got a ticket to another beach.
He has a knife.
He's a beach guy. He's a beach
with zinc. So he's not like stupid. He knows how to keep his knives from rusting in the sand.
Is that how it works?
Salt. Well,
zinc?
Zinc. Yeah, they put zinc on the bottom of ships.
I live in Canada.
Well, they still do that in Canada.
Well, I don't go to beaches. That's what I'm saying.
What do they call it? The sacrificial zinc thing?
Layer?
No, it's just literally a block of zinc on the bottom of a ship.
Oh.
So the rust...
So it doesn't oxidize the boat because the zinc takes up all the something or other?
I don't know how it works because it's still all in contact with the water.
Science. We were scientists.
Science.
We had to excel at chemistry to get our jobs, and it's all gone. You know who would be slapping his head right now? Our father.
Yeah.
It would be like, the zinc has an oxidative quality. Yeah, anyway.
I'm going to Google zinc on the bottom of a ship.
Mom wants you to put the car in the garage tonight. She just texted me.
Oh my gosh, I was like...
Anyway, they believe he arrived...
I was close to Mom, but I didn't read her thoughts.
They believe he arrived at the Adelaide railway station by overnight train from either Melbourne, Sydney, or Port Augusta. I mean, really, I think at that point you're just guessing. You're just naming places in Australia.
Could be anywhere.
You know, one of my favorite Australia...
because they're easy, cheap to replace anodes rather than completely large sheet of metal. These anodes are used as various applications, protecting a ship's hull. The most common metals are sacrificial anode is zinc.
There you go.
Fucking good.
You're a smart man. You know, one of my favorite Australia stories was that they built a railroad to cross the Great Southern Continent.
Great Southern Land.
And if you watch, what's the guy's name? Russell Coight.
It's not his real name.
No, but, that's how you find him on YouTube. I haven't seen the new season. Have you seen it?
It's really good.
Yeah, I can't wait. Anyway.
It's all the same shit, but it's...
Yeah,
gold.
Of course.
Yeah.
So one team started from the south, one team started from the north, and they met in the middle, and they made the tracks different widths.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, so then they have to... Now when trains, like, carrying a bunch of cargo come, they have to, like, take a crane... Cargo come. It's one of Australia's greatest exports. Aussie come. Get behind.
Get behind.
Sorry, Pastor Rob. It's inappropriate.
What are you talking about? Why is that bad?
I don't know.
It's just cargo.
Cargo joke. We're just
cargo come shipments.
I graduated cum laude. You ever laugh when you see that? I was the valedictorian cum laude.
Oh.
When you see it on the,
No.
like, man, why do they call it that?
No, I think we need to do an origin story about how that got its name.
Yeah, I think it's fucking Latin for loud orgasms.
Really?
Cum laude.
No.
No. Anywho, fascinating story. I know you're all on the edge of your seat, so let's.
Yeah, because I started the story by saying we don't know who he is or how
Okay.
he died.
Yeah,
or
but
where he came from.
okay. But here's the best part. Except I'm gonna find the lady's name.
Here's the best part.
This shit gets crazy.
It doesn't get crazy.
No, it does get crazy because 3 months after they found the guy, they found a hidden pocket in the pants that he was wearing.
Yeah.
Behind where his belt is. And in the pocket, they found this scrap of paper.
Tasman stud.
Well, a tamam shud. Or tamam shud.
Oh, is it in Sanskrit?
Arabic or Sanskrit or whatever. Yep. So this is really distinctive font. And somehow they figured out that this came from a rare New Zealand edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. I mean, how many copies of that book can possibly be in circulation?
1948?
Like 1 or 2 copies.
20,000.
So, they, weirdly, they put this in the news, and this guy says, hey, I found a copy of that book in the backseat of my car when I was parked at that beach that same day. And he brings that in, and there is a piece missing from the book, and it is, that's our grandfather clock. It is this scrap of paper that says Tamam Shud, which means it is ended.
Oh.
Okay? So, it was a 1941 edition of this translation of the Rubaiyat, and I just want to... They called the guy Ronald Francis who found it, but I don't think that's his real name.
What time is it, people?
Yeah, the witching hour. Anyway, so in this book, they found a phone number and a code. And here's the code. See, I can show stuff to him when he's here.
Yeah, shame you guys can't see it.
Yeah, but
I came to the beach and died. Easy. Could have been
master code breaker.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so they followed the phone number, and it led them to this woman. And I want to find her name. Dang.
Diane Hasbrook.
Jessica Ellen Joe Thompson.
Oh, damn.
Born Jesse Harkness. Unfortunately, died in 2007. Man, I wish somebody would talk to her again. Anyway, when she was interviewed by police, she cried the whole time.
Oh, ex-lover.
Well, she was very upset and claimed the entire time that she did not know the dead man. She was very evasive. Never died in 2007. Never said why she was
Maybe she was just
evasive.
She was just not a stable person.
I think there's some issue that she might have had a kid that they were wondering if this is the father. But
why didn't they take DNA tests?
there's a reason they didn't.
It's because it was 1948.
Because it was 1948, but even later,
because it was 1948.
They didn't do it for whatever reason. Or maybe they did do the test and the kid was the husband's kid.
Well, they would only be able to do blood tests, so...
Yeah.
Like...
Type A, type B,
yeah.
type O. Yeah.
Typo.
Anyway, this is kind of a boring episode. I'm sorry. It's not that I didn't...
the Somerton man.
Well, anyway, this goes on. I feel like like there's more to this mystery.
I think what you were saying before is... Okay, wait, the best part is...
they found this thing, then they found the book that it came from, then they found the lady's address in the book along with this code.
But it was a dead end.
Well, it wasn't a dead end, but she just wouldn't admit to what was going on. Here's some theories. So there's a spy theory, because this is the height of the Cold War, or the origin of the Cold War.
But
Anyway.
Australia didn't have anything to do with the Cold War.
Well, the communists wanted to take over the whole world, right? So they were spying on everybody, according to
But at a beach
McCarthy.
in Adelaide?
I don't know. Maybe they killed him and then dropped him on the beach in Adelaide.
Maybe.
Or maybe he just
they
wandered
killed
there.
him.
Even spies
airplane.
like to relax.
Maybe he washed up there.
Well, he wasn't wet. He was out of the tide. He was in the dry.
Well, maybe dingoes pulled him up.
Could be anything. Starfish attack.
Starfish attack.
Could be anything.
He's a blue ring octopus. Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so funny if he was killed by a box jellyfish this whole time?
Why didn't we test for that venom? Man, there's so many things in Australia that can kill you. It's amazing that this one's not solved.
Barbiturates are like
Barbiturates,
really
yeah.
high on the list.
Yeah. Anyway, they buried the guy in June of 1949. His gravesite is Salvation Army Captain M. Webb. Never mind. I'm reading the caption. They didn't. That's the guy who read the prayers at his gravesite. Sorry.
I was like, they put a fake name.
I don't know why they would put a name on him. Yeah. And the South Australian Grandstand Bookmakers Association paid for the service to save the man from a pauper's burial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so many paupers who, just poor person, don't get a proper send-off.
Mm.
I'm guessing by the time we die, it's going to be a law that you have to either be cremated or hydro-blasted or whatever they call it.
Hydroblasted would be awful.
I'm telling you, one more election of this Canadian moron, and they're going to change the laws about what you can do with dead people.
Plots, though. We've actually got an extra one now.
Yeah. We do have some plots.
7 for the price of 6.
Well, they buried him next to his father. This is weird. So they buried him next to his father, which is kind of nice because Dad loved his father.
Well, I don't know which side his dad was on, though.
We buried Danny together. She was on the other side. But they buried him next to his father, almost right on top of him, to be honest.
Maybe, because it was at least...
It was not that...
It was only
not that
4
deep.
feet, I reckon. It wasn't full 6 feet.
No. The dingoes will get him. But there was a pile of dirt, where they do the excavation. And then Mom said, well, this isn't the grave. And they said, well, there's lots of room for you here. But then I went back the next morning and they'd filled in the hole with all the dirt. And there was a headstone in the ground, but it was like flush with the ground. And there'd been snow on it when they...
Yeah.
So there's another guy named Leonard something. Yeah.
Cohen, maybe.
No, nobody famous. Anyway, right there where Mom's supposed to go. So they may have to stack them like cordwood.
Yeah. Mom will be a good 2 feet under the ground.
Yeah, we'll have to do some landscaping, build up the hill a little bit over. Man. Anyway, nobody seems to have cracked this code. They came up with the code might be ITTMTSAMSTGAB, which could stand for It's Time to Move to South Australia, Mosley Street. The former nurse that this person, the nurse that they called,
It's time to move to
lived
South
in
Australia,
Mosley Street. I don't know why you'd write that in code.
Nurse chopsticks, fish pie, carafe.
There's a theory that the code stands for some English text, but there's no match that anybody can find. Anyway, so kind of an unsolved one there for you. It's
there's so much in
there
there.
have been a bunch of different possible identifications, but I don't think anything's played out. And I feel like I've gone on long enough, really. I don't know. I dig deeper into it, but I feel like I'm just not doing that great a job. I'm just reading it off Wikipedia, to be honest.
I dig deeper, but I'm scared I'll come up with something.
Well, I watched all the videos. I'll do some reading on it. And if I come up with something before the next episode, I'll give you an update if there's any good, strong possibles. But I like these ones. I like the unsolved ones.
The unsolved. Yeah, I like when something's unsolved, but we tell it that it's now solved.
Yeah, that's always very satisfying, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Did you hear they captured Bigfoot?
Really?
No.
Oh.
Too bad.
It
But that would
was
have been nice.
Sasquatch.
Yeah. Turns out it was just a guy in an ape suit.
At a birthday party.
Yeah. He's blurry. That's
That's
why
his
the
name.
video looks that way. There's an out of focus man they captured. And that's a Mitch Hedberg joke. Anyway, so that kind of wraps her up.
Don't forget that your pets and loved ones will soon die and you'll be left alone.
Well, you might not be. You might die first.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, that's one foot in the grave. We'll be back with a better episode. We didn't really prepare much. We just wanted to sort of update everyone.
Update everyone. All the people who care.
Well, we're in the
Simply.
same city. I thought it'd be a shame not to do one.
Yeah, we'll do another one. We'll come up with something solved.
Now, Dan's friend, well, he's my friend too, but he's mostly Dan's friend, Brent, is
he
in
should come
town.
on. Yeah, he should come on.
And
the show.
he's a hoot.
a hoot.
He's very gay.
Yes, and Christmas time is the time.
It's
to
good.
celebrate.
It's good. You know what? And it adds a little diversity to our cast of
I know.
hemochromatosis white guys.
I know, we don't have any black friends.
That's not true.
True,
I got
two.
a couple on Facebook. Well,
Well, I mean, their profile picture is black person.
look, man. There's no way I'm racist. A lot of my friends are black for Halloween. That's not true. That's not true.
All right,
Anyway, love you, weirdos.
bye. Bye. Bye.